Don't do anything on a dare. That's what Tom's older and acknowledged much wiser brother Frank had told him more than just once throughout his life. But this dare, Tom hoped, would win him some of the respect he had long lacked from his fellow 15-year-old classmates at school. The dare wasn't for Halloween night, as they figured there would be too many people there in the night, especially other teenagers. So Tom and his buddy Stan were going to spend the entire night, 8 to 6, in a local cemetery on Friday, a week before that of Halloween. It was the largest and by far the oldest cemetery in town. The first graves were from the early 19th century. So, of course, it had gathered in its lonely lot stories of being haunted by the ghosts of those who were buried there. Tom and Stan's peers had told them such stories. So, as his elder brother would have said, there was no good reason to believe what had been told to him. They had a diabolical purpose in their story, telling both boys had misinformed their parents that they would be staying at the other boy's place for the night, and that they would be sleeping in a tent in the backyard of the other boy's house. As both boys were relatively quiet and never got into any trouble, as far as they knew, this sounded fine to both sets of parents. They were glad that the boys were finally getting out more. Thursday night. Plotting. It was the Thursday night before the Friday vigil, and the boys were in the basement at Ricky's place. They were planning what they would do the next night to scare Tom and Stan, hoping that their intended victims would pee themselves in terror. The flavor of their nefarious ideas was spiced with a little drugs. The windows were open and a fan was on, and a little alcohol, screwdrivers with lots of orange juice. Ricky and Brad would execute the plan that they had come up with. Too many people would spoil the shock and surprise. Their main tools would be yellow raincoats, slicked-up hair, well-practiced scary zombie voices, and vampire makeup borrowed from Brad's sister Elaine. They told their parents the same lie as Tom and Stan had theirs. The night of the graveyard vigil. It is the night of the graveyard vigil. The sun has set. There are a few clouds to dim the light of the nearly full moon that illuminates the way that the two boys take to enter the cemetery. Tom is leading Stan to the place where they will be spending the night. It is a special place for him, somewhere where he can feel somewhat safe and protected. He had come here often during the past few months, but only in the day. The two boys are sitting down now with their backs to the gravestone, looking into the night sky. They are soon talked out, so no words are being spoken. That enables Tom and Stan to hear anyone approaching them during late hours of the night. They had expected this and had talked about it. They had figured the boys might try to give them a good scare. They have a kind of plan as to what they will do in response. Laughing and identifying the spooks seemed right to them. Tom's older brother Frank had repeatedly told him that in stressful situations, he should always have a plan, maybe two. The two teenagers had packed a few things in their backpacks, just in case they might have an opportunity to spook back any costumed intruders. The spooking two figures are walking in the night. No signs of legs are apparent in their movement forward, but then they appear to be wearing long, flowing robes, white in color. They seem to be coasting between the gravestones as they move through the cemetery. They resemble Dracula's wives in that way, as the early goth ladies were depicted in a number of old movies. There is a dull glow all about them, like moonbeams have been invisibly stitched into their clothes. As this is going on, the two teenage boys intended as their scare targets are moving in their direction, not knowing that there is soon going to be a confrontation, and it will involve what they would not have suspected. The two boys are approaching the gravestone that is the vigil-sitting resting place of Tom and Stan. Although they would never, ever use the word or say that that was what they were doing, the two boys were giggling in anticipation. They can't wait to see the expressions of their victims' faces. The four traveling figures now see each other. Two of them stop in their tracks, while the other two keep on moving directly towards them. The ones in motion do not appear to look like what the others expected. One is significantly taller and definitely bulkier, while the other is somewhat slender and female-looking. Ricky and Brad then get the shock of their young lives. The two approaching them begin to glow, and to float about a yard off of the cemetery ground. Ricky shouts out, "These are real ghosts! Let's get out of here!" They both turn and run as fast as their legs can take them. Ricky trips and falls, barely missing a gravestone, but gets up as quickly as if he had landed on Bouncy Castle. They are soon gone, not stopping until they are in the safety of their homes. The two figures who had spooked them lose their glow and touch down on the ground. They, the smaller one, seeps into the gravestone underneath, which their bodies are buried. The larger one stays above the ground longer, as he has something to say to his younger brother. "I always told you that you should never do anything on a dare." Tom nods his head in silent agreement, with a slight smile on his face. Frank grins back at him, and his spirit form descends into the ground beside the gravestone that Tom had rested his back on. His hero, his brother, had died in a car accident, along with his wife Sally, almost exactly 1 year earlier. Tom had often visited their gravesite whenever he felt he needed some support. Again, his brother did not fail him, just like in life. Meanwhile, Ricky and Brad arrived separately at their homes. Both hoped that they would not have to explain to their parents why they were not where they said they had been, why they were breathing heavily, and, most importantly to the boys, why the front of their pants was a little wet. Tap, refresh. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I've been waiting for a reply since April, and it's damn near Halloween. I draw both hands down my face, contemplating social murder. Of myself. Right, that's suicide. Maybe that's the reason they haven't accepted my piece. I've tarred myself, waiting for them to add the feathers. And why would they want to be complicit in my murd? Suicide. I need sheep. Sleep. Easing around towards the window, I stare into Harry's, my once rancid rat of a neighbor's yard, unabashed. Harry's long since departed, rest his grisly old hide. But his house has been on the market for years, so it's still Harry's to me. As it is, it's close to 3 a.m., who'd think I'm still up playing voyeur? But here I am, damning myself to death and pondering the length of his grass. It's dead. No, it's worse than dead. His realtor mowed it 7 times over this week. It's mutilated. With a scoff, I press my laptop shut, preparing for the long trek to my room. Something flashes. Blinking back my confusion, I hazard a second glance at the wilted stalks. Now I'm seeing things. Add that to my list of defects, and I just might never receive the attention I conceitedly believe I deserve. Yeah, I'm not getting it anyway, so what does it matter? I tuck my computer under one arm, lifting my empty coffee mug from the desk with my other hand, to glorious sleep. After the shuffle of my movements dies, I hear ringing. Not of the ears. No, it's a jingle, a cell phone. Who's outside our houses answering suspiciously late calls? Ah, curiosity, the wedged blade in my sternum. Just one peek, nothing. From Judy's to the Marisons, nothing. But then Harry's. The flash wasn't my sleep deprivation-induced brain fog. Hidden in the illuminated grass, I can see a phone playing the most dastardly merry tune. His realtor must have dropped it earlier today. A fine story that almost made for my next script. I snort. Boring. All this intrigue has me famished, but the exhaustion is overwhelming any other bodily needs. I maneuver one last time towards the lure of my flannel sheets before pausing. Is that? Not 5 feet from the phone, there's now a shadow of a man, sort of. In the depths of my mind, I bark a panic-driven explanation. Nyctophile. He's just as much a nyctophile as I am. That's it. But the way he moves is downright inhuman. Sheep. The word maunders through next. Yeah, sleep. I need that. But I'm melded to the floor now, drawn into his animalistic motions. He kneels over the phone, dangles it in confusion, and then shatters it in his miraculously pointy fingers. Even I have pointy fingers. They're called fingernails. He's just a man. Just a slam! Slam! My skin about loosens itself free from my bones. Well, that confirms their answer. They really went for the feathers. I'm dead before I'm even known. Bittersweet irony leave me be. But really, what idiot is beating down my door at 3 a.m.? I should be warier, but 2 days of insomnia have me several stripes short of a full candy corn. I cross the hall to the door, not a speck of fear in sight, save for the trembling in my knees, the sweat perspiring on my temples, and the now headless sheep singing Sweeney Todd on my frontal lobe. Fear. Scriptwriters don't have fear, just exhaustion. So I whip my front door open, only to be met with a flood of liquid. It douses me. Is this silver? Okay, thanks. My glare travels from my clothes to the man standing across from me, fumbling to hide a vial in his jacket pocket. Leather Oxfords one size too big, followed by a 1940s pinstripe suit and knee-length trench coat. He's walking history. And his transatlantic accent laces up his look neatly. I apologize. My friend just moved in here. He lifts his phone, pointing at it. But he was unavailable. Or had extremely long nails. And I wasn't positive which house was his, so I've been asking, here's a clue. Next door, you fuck all, I snarl, jabbing a thumb toward Harry's. I'm tired. And drenched. And from Sweeney Todd, I now have the ting of the Halloween theme. It's not wrong. This guy is creepy. He must elect and deformed candy corn the same as me. Okay, I admit I'm a tad unfriendly. But look at the time, and what I've been enduring for 7 months. 6. 7? 6? He doesn't answer, nor does he move. His head twitches slightly, like he's got an itch he's dying to scratch. There's a distinct vibration to the action. His neck must be stiff. With a sickening snap, he stops, looking almost relieved. And then a thin smile spreads over his unnaturally red lips. Is this man wearing lipstick? I squint at him against my better judgment. As soon as I pass the threshold with a single bunny-slippered toe, he snatches me forward. My mug shatters. My laptop hits the porch with a thud. And I scream. His heavy breath moistens the skin of my neck as he drags me into him. I thrash against his strength, kick at his ankles, but he doesn't budge. He draws his tongue along his bottom lip until it's replaced by 2 protruding points that sink into the scarlet flesh. In the dim glow of my motion light, walking history, WH, could be no more enticing, nor frightening. Bang! My body jerks back and WH with it. I expect him to cry out or fall to the ground bleeding, but he just sighs, patting at the hole now ripped through the breast pocket of his suit. There's nothing. No blood, no ooze, no stain. Expensive injury, he announces, tossing me to the grass. Free, I scramble. I don't care who he's talking to, I'm getting the hell out of here. Dashing back onto my porch, I slam through my front door and fumble to lock it. Bang. Nope, I'm not looking. Bang. Son of a bitch, you flea-bitten mutt. WH's shout is loud. I can hear him perfectly. Murderous curiosity tugs at my collar, and only grows as another voice finally answers him. If only I were. Deep, gravelly, steady, perhaps the owner of 2 hands' worth of finely manicured fingernails. I'm not looking. Taking several steps away from the door, I try to will myself not to turn around. But I bear this wedged blade in my chest for a reason. Spinning on my heel, I face the door just as the glass shatters in at me. WH meets my shins, and the man hulking over him is is... I dance backward. My fear is consuming my voice. I can't shriek. I can't even think. But my tired legs wobble beneath me, so I plummet to the hardwood floor. The sheep aren't singing anymore. The bleating in my head is a panicked rendition of "Run, Rabbit, Run." But it's soon drowned out. WH wails. Then there's tearing, a muffled whimper, stretching fabric, stretching flesh. I'll teach you to kill my brothers. Like heavy boots crunching over gravel, leaving deep indents. Gravel. G. Please, please. WH's voice is gargled. Nope, that's not blood in his voice. I haven't heard that sound a million times in films. I drag myself across the floor until it feels safe to stand, and then I half throw myself to my feet. The kitchen's just a few feet away. A spoon, a fork, anything. And then he laughs. I know you like when I beg. My hand meets the countertop, then drawer, towels, after drawer, placemats, after drawer, napkins. What was I thinking? When did I rearrange my kitchen to be baby-proof? I don't even like children. There's a grunt from behind me, a cry, a gasp, and then I feel moisture spray over my shoulders. Please don't be blood. Please don't be blood. It's blood. My stomach turns, and with it, my head. WH is ripping into G, tearing at his fur-covered flesh. His fangs gleam. Anything. My hand fumbles over the counter, latching onto the first thing it feels, and I brandish it. I get about 2 feet forward. WH meets me the rest of the way, welcoming me into his embrace. So I stab him. Protruding from his throat is an AA battery. Damn it. Run, G! The exclamation leaves my lips before I know what I'm doing. The sheep are crescendoing. Now there's a tap dance. Run, rabbit. Run, run, run. The men won't even know who I'm talking to. No. 4 thick claws dig into WH's forehead. I watch the skin split. It peels upward with the movement of G's paw. And then they're twisting. The battle is unreal. From the oven to the table. They wreck, they crumble, they destroy my house. My curiosity will no longer allow me to run. So I watch. The early morning voyeur that I am. My hand grazes the silverware drawer. I want G to come out victorious. But if he does so only to betray me, I'll be ready. I lift my silver salad fork. From the reflection on the surface, I can see the men struggling. They're fumbling for higher ground. G's blood is coating my floor. Crash! Another wolf? He bursts through my kitchen window, and this time I can't help but yelp. His pearly teeth peel back in a wicked grin, and his soulless eyes swallow me. My brandished fork will do nothing. Number, I will kill you! I roar at the top of my lungs. But who would believe me? My hands are quivering. There's a distinct shiver present in my breath. I'm a pitiable scriptwriter waiting to be noticed. And I'm human. He lunges. I heave myself out of the kitchen, but his teeth still graze my ankles. With a whimper, I throw a slipper. I can get new slippers, not new legs. Those massive teeth clamp down on the furry little bunny head, and then he squeals it dead. Air hisses from within. Sus! Is that a demonstration? Is that my fate? The bunny slaps against the wall, flopping helplessly to the floor. His teeth are now free. They'll shred through me faster than the sheep in my head can chant. With lumbering strides, he corners me. There's not even a small chance I can fight him. He knows that. He's just enjoying my fear. Even so, I lift my fork in both hands. I rake it down as his mouth closes around my ankle. It barely grazes his cheek, but his teeth rip through my pant leg. Gnawing, chewing, mangling. Don't think about it. I can't take my own advice. I just hope the agony that soils my plea for help is enough to startle the other two. Please, I gasp. I don't know him. Yank, my body slides along the wood floor. He's drawing me closer, slashing through my leg. The desperate kicking of my other is nothing to him. I'm about to pass out. I'm about to surrender myself. But then I hear a crack. His jaws release. Where his teeth leave, my skin is burning. Down. G's order is loud, clear. He's standing right over me. 10 to the pale one. Gentle, human fingers trace down my knee. Not too deep. You'll heal, he promises. Is he out of his mind? My hand swings the silver fork with all my remaining energy, but he catches my wrist with his other hand. Blinking my eyes open, I meet his. The sheep have long since forgotten their tap dancing, reliving a tribal drum dance instead. It's the only thing holding in my bawling. I take back wanting a story tonight. I'd rather have the boring. Let this scriptwriter live. You got an email. He holds up my phone, but the words are so foreign, I barely comprehend them. What? I'm bleeding to death, and he's reading my emails? Sorry. We read through your submission carefully, but we decided to go with another project. Thank you for your interest, and best of luck submitting with another company. I think I hate you, I mutter in response. Sorry to hear that. He pats a hand down on my head. Neighbor. This is once again based on personal experience. I was too scared to create a horror story. My dream as a teenager was to become a filmmaker. So my best friend, back in the day, cursed me with, "How if you end up being a horror filmmaker?" question. Because I was just so cowardly and she just loved horror movies so much. At that time, The Conjuring was released. As always, she was so excited because The Conjuring had the taste of Asian horror. I, as expected, found 1,000 excuses to not watch it. She did find a trick, though. One day as I slept over in her house, she made me watch it along with her parents and siblings. So I had no choice but to bite my tongue. Short story, when we were in our second years in high school, the art teacher asked us to produce our own short film for the short film competition in our school annual Art Week event. I was the one supposed to be the director, but I was just too busy with my part-time debate club, writing, and perfectionism. So, my classmate decided to create something crazy. They produced a horror movie without my consent. I was told to go into an area, which is a famous graveyard in my hometown. The graveyard had a pedestrian path in between two graveyard sections. You need to realize that Asia, especially Southeast Asians' graveyard, horror, mystic, ghost, and belief in magic, is still strong until today. Let me give you a brief introduction on my ethnicity. I am a Javanese, the one most mainstream ethnic from the world's most populous island, Java. We had a completed package of mystique folktale, a creepy back sound, and tons of sacred tradition. If a virgin swept the floor when the sun wasn't raised yet, she'd left with no friend. If you want to look prettier, you need no plastic surgery. Just make an appointment with a local shaman and ask him/her to apply a susuk in your forehead. Susuk is a small piece of silver or gold needle inserted in the face with a magic charm to improve your beauty. Also, if you hate someone and want to curse them, do the same. The shaman would send a santet to the person you hate, and a trick my grandma had taught me was to sleep on the floor to avoid it. Yes, I might be successful and avoid the santet, but gain a backache instead. There were a plethora more beliefs that I grew up with. One among many that made me question all the beliefs I had growing up was the coffee on the session basket. It's not an actual basket, but I have no more accurate word to explain it in English. It's more like a rectangular plate full of small special bowls, like a Chinese tea glass, and it's full of sacred offerings for our ancestors. Something like a cigarette, incense, betel leaves, coffee, and a bunch of stuff I don't remember the name of. Basically, My grandma once again taught me that the ancestor has come and drank the coffee, and I asked her, "How did you know?" "Look at the coffee. It's full before, and now some of it was drunk by your grandfather." I really want to give her some clarity. It just evaporated, my dear Mamba. The worst being Javanese for a coward like me was the ghost. Believe me, something like The Conjuring, Chucky, or Annabelle is creepy, but not really scary. Something that I hesitantly typeted the name as I write it now was the one that scared me out. Let's go back to the graveyard my friend asked me to come. Indonesia is located in the equatorial line. It means that we have the same exact time of sunset for the whole year. The difference was just between minutes. When the sunset came, I was just sat there, among the tombs and shivering. I was genuinely asking my own sanity to agree with it and tried to accept the fact that I was there, sitting next to someone's gravestone, over hundreds of corpses. I was definitely not sane. I ended up not directing the film and decided to direct the drama instead. So, my first short film was produced without a proper script. It's about a gangster who suddenly dies in a car accident and becomes a ghost. He was tracing back his life and regretting everything. But it was too late. The title was Too Late to Repent. He ends up dragged to hell. Indonesia has a lot of traditions for the dead and how to care for the body. Some will be burned or buried with a coffin like in Western. Some will be burned with a huge celebration like a Ngaben in Bali. Some other huge celebration was in Toraja, where the dead will be mummified and kept in the house until the remaining family have enough money for the ceremony, which will cost billions of rupiah, and rest the body of the dead in a natural rock wall. There were jokes among my peers of our ethnicity. Some of us save money for dye, some others for marriage. Panay, money that men have to give to women before marriage, and more. But the most common way to bury the dead was wrapped the corpses with white cloth called kafan and tied the top, middle, and bottom like a candy. The strap must be opened when the corpse are buried. If not, the dead will turn into a ghost. When I was a kid, there's a movie about this ghost with the red eyes and the blue eyes. I enjoyed it so much with my finger in between my eyes. This one candy-like ghost is the one I scared the most. Even mentioning the name in front of me is taboo. My brother and sister used to tease me by mentioning the ghost, and I'd screamed to my mom, and 3 of us would end up with detention. I didn't understand why people like cosplaying this ghost at the town square. I hate it so much. And that night, amongst tons of ghosts in this diverse Indonesia folktale, they chose this candy-like ghost. I was done. I lose my focus, and all I remember was, I don't want to go back home alone. Have you ever seen a ghost riding a motorbike? I was more afraid that people started being anarchy after mistaking my friend as a real ghost. Oh God, I feel like witches in Harry Potter that are too afraid to mention Voldemort. I do really want to tell you the name, but I was too afraid to check on Google whether you can find it by typing Indonesian candy-like ghost or not. Okay, then let's play a game. It contains 6 letters beginning with P, P Heskri, G, O, O, G, C, G. Can you guess it yourself? I've given you all my bravery.